All right, so today we're with another business that you absolutely need to know about, and this is Nikki's Grazing Boards out in Hokes Bluff. And this is a unique business because you're the only person in town doing this, right?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty sure. So why don't you tell us how you got your start, kind of where you're located, things like that. What led you into doing charcuterie and grazing boards?
Well, it kind of started by accident. I did it for like a birthday celebration for my family, and put it on Facebook, and everybody's like, hey, can you come do that for me? And so we took the steps to do what I had to do and got into my commercial kitchen, and that was kind of how it started.
Because I know you started next door with Marilla Winery. You kind of worked in the corner of their kitchen, and now you've expanded to your own place. So
I did. I started there because with what I do, it has to be in a commercial kitchen.
Yes.
So and was kind of hard to find in a kitchen without a huge restaurant attached. So Scott was great over at Marilla to let me use his kitchen until I could get into this space, to my own commercial kitchen.
Right. So now that you're in your own space, you actually have a few tables in here where people can eat. Most of the time it's order ahead, pick up, and carry, but you also do things like cater parties. You serve lunch, not quite daily, but then you also do parties, weddings, and things like that. So
I do. I do lunch 3 days a week, breakfast and lunch, and then I do private events here. Oh. I do the charcuterie parties and classes, private ones, or sometimes I do open to the public. Anyone buy a ticket, come in. And I also do the grazing boards and grazing tables for weddings, showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for.
Okay, so it's a great alternative because to me this is more fun. I mean, a lot of times you go to catering, we like taco bars, we like other things like that, but seeing charcuterie and the artistry that goes into it, the other stuff, it's a little hard to make it look pretty, but this is absolutely gorgeous work. So, well,
thank you. Yeah, and it does take a good bit of time to put together a full grazing table. The largest one I've done was to feed 200 people. It was up at Northeast Alabama Community College, and one of their fashion shows. It was a big one. It was about 24-foot table from end to end. The entire table was covered, but desserts and plus the full charcuterie.
How long did something like that take you to put together?
It took 2.5 hours to put it together on the table, but it took 5 hours to prep beforehand.
Wow. That's amazing, the amount of prep work that goes into it. Mm-hmm. What kind of lead time do you usually have to have for parties or anything like that?
I just kind of, I ask people to give me, if it's a big one, to give me, a couple of weeks notice. According to how many I'm feeding, it takes, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, sometimes a little more, to actually put one together. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, I just ask for a little notice. Some people I'm booked up through, I have some weddings booked in 2024 already.
Oh, wow.
So, and I have 3 weddings coming up in October that I'm really excited about.
But now that you're set up in your own store, you don't just carry grazing tables. This is where you do the work, obviously, but you've got a nice variety of products in here. So tell me about some of them that you have and where they come from.
I do. I have a good bit of storefront space. I carry different products, some related to food and some not. Right now, a big thing is the skinny mixes, the skinny syrups that people put in their waters or their coffees. I try to keep a good variety of those. I have a couple of people set up with booths. One lady has Rada products in here, the dips and the cutlery and that kind of thing. I have a local person that has honey in here that comes local here from Hokes Bluff. She keeps honey in here. I have a booth set up with jewelry and earrings, and then I have one that does woodworking kind of thing, engraving and birdhouses and all of that kind of stuff. I also try to keep jams and jellies and seasonings, barbecue sauces, things like that. I have a local lady here that does pickles, so I try to keep her pickles and peppers in here as well.
I've heard about those Hokes Bluff pickle recipes. Those things are guarded worse than Fort Knox.
And they are very good, and I sell out pretty quick. And then a lot of times I have other things in here. Sometimes just some different jewelry, some earrings and things that I purchase and sell in here. And I have wood boards that are also for sale. Some that I just pick up different places, unique looking ones, and I put them in here. You can buy it or you can purchase it, and then also have me make the charcuterie for it. And I have a good many people that do that for welcome to the neighborhood boxes or get well boxes and that kind of thing, and they'll want the to have an actual wood board on it instead of a disposable tray.
Because I've seen some that are even engraved and all of that. Mm-hmm. Do you work with somebody to do the engraving for you, or is that available?
Yes, R&P Crafts, which has the birdhouses and things here, they do. He does the laser engraving as well.
Okay.
And so he, any of the boards that anyone wants something put on, he can do that.
Oh, neat. So you could theme the party for the board and then have the beautiful arrangement on top of it
yes.
too. Do you do a lot of parties?
I do. I do a good many class reunions, birthday parties, retirement parties. Of course, the showers. Everybody loves this kind of stuff at a baby shower and a bridal shower. I do lots of those.
I can imagine. It's nice. I like the grazing part of your name. That's because I'm that way. They're Lunchables for adults, and
they are.
I loved Lunchables when I was a kid. But talk about some of the different meats, because this isn't just sliced ham, sliced cheese.
Right.
Some of the different meats, and there's a lot in there. I see some fruit salad. I see some really nice brie cheese over there.
Yes, brie is a big one on the board because one, you can cut it to make it look beautiful. It's the centerpiece of good many of my boards. Okay. And typically I use salami and pepperoni, which I normally slice myself. And I do also use capicola, sopressata, prosciutto. Now, some people, if they're doing a big one, they want not necessarily the artesian meats and cheeses because, if you're feeding a whole lot of people and it can become pricey. So and plus you have some people that doesn't know what a lot of that is. So they would rather just have ham and turkey and roast beef and that kind of thing, and I do that as well.
I had to explain to some people, my mother, what capicola was.
That's my favorite of the charcuterie meats.
It is the best meat. So the best thing about capicola is that when they make it, it doesn't have to be seasoned on the inside. They kind of do all the seasonings on the outside. Then you do the membrane, you do the curing process, and all the moisture gets in. So the spices that are on the outside kind of get into the meat. So it's just beautiful. The fat content has a lot to do with it. But,
it is.
They are basically pork loins. So capicola is kind of spicy pork, but
it is.
It's just beautiful once it's cured out.
It's kind of, someone said, that's just fancy ham. And I said, well, I guess it's fancy ham.
Well, you're using the loin, which is a more tender cut. So kind of is, but this isn't like a spiral sliced ham or something that you're used to. This isn't lunch meat ham.
Right.
So much different. So a lot of it has to do with the spices and everything. I believe pepperoni is ground up, and they put those spices in there. I've wanted a meat grinder for quite a while because I love all the cured meats.
Right. I don't have a grinder here to do that, but I do have a commercial slicer. And like I said, I slice the majority of the ones that I do.
I went to this grocery store. Well, it wasn't even a grocery store. It was a market in Philadelphia, and they had basically where you buy all the charcuterie. It was a market style there. Oh my goodness! I just asked them. I said, "Can I just stay here after dark and just pay you one fee?" And just, and they said, "People, I'm not the first person to ask that."
Disgrace his deli case, huh?
Disgrace his deli case. He had the slicer there in the market and would prepackage everything, and it was dry cured. So nothing had to be refrigerated. So yes, I loaded up on meat and put it in my suitcase for the flight home.
Right. Absolutely.
And so I see a lot of pastries. It's not just meats and cheeses. I see breads. I see crackers. I see a few other things on there. You got to tell me about these little cinnamon buns.
This one that we have here is a brunch board, which is, typically more of a morning kind of thing. So it has a little less of the meats and more of the pastries on it. Those are just little mini cinnamon rolls, which are fantastic in whatever size they come in. This one has chicken salad on it, which I make here. And then, of course, the color with the little cute mini donuts there. It has peach habanero jam is also on there, and I sell that here as well. And then, of course, there'll be fruit, muffins, croissants, and then you get your meats and your different cheeses. This one has a Gouda and then a cheddar, and like you said, the brie, and it has a tomato basil cheese on there as well, which is one of my favorites out of all of them. And then, of course, you've got your honey, which is fantastic with your brie.
I've never tried that.
To me, it's the best way to eat it. Is the honey on it. I like a cracker with a slice of a little piece of the brie and
some honey drizzled over it.
Yes, you got to put some capicola on there and then the honey, and it's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely have to try
But look, you
that.
can also just use the brie as your cracker.
You can. So
some people do that. They use the cracker as their base, or you could do a. It also pairs well with like a thin sliced apple, which you could use as your cracker. You put the cheese on there on the top of the apple, and then put your meat of your choice, which mine would be capicola, and then your honey or that spicy jam would also be good on there with just a little heat.
So you get the salty, you get the savory, you also get a little bit of sweet.
A little sweet.
And then you enhance that with the honey. So it's kind of a flavor combo, just put everything packed in there.
It really is.
That's neat. That's a couple of different ways to try those. So you said this was a brunch board, but you also do different themes for dinner, for fancier things.
Absolutely. I do just kind of like the basic charcuterie, which would have the artesian cheeses and kind of meats of your choice. When someone orders, especially a big one, I'll give them the options. This is the meats I have. This is the cheeses. You choose according to what size it is. You choose 3. You choose 5. You choose 6. And some people are just like, look, I trust you. Just put on it whatever you want.
Surprise me.
Yes.
And it sounds like you know what you're talking about with all the different meats and everything. So imagine you come up with some pretty tasty creations.
I do. A lot of the boxes, when people, like, I've done like 3, 4, I don't remember how many get well boxes just in the last few days, because different people having things done, and their neighbor will call and say, hey, so and so just had surgery, can you fix me up something? So I'll just get a 10-inch bakery box, and we just fill it full. We do the different, it's got like 4 or 5 cheeses in it. It'll have the fruits, the crackers. Those don't typically have the pastries unless someone, asks for it. But it'll have the meats, crackers, cheeses, fruits. Some people request vegetables and the dip to go with it in there. They'll request the pimento cheese, which I also do here. The chicken salad, which you've had the pimento cheese.
Yes.
That's another one on my lunches. The pimento cheese and bacon with that peach habanero jam. It's like a grilled pimento cheese. That's one of my biggest sellers here. Besides the chicken salad croissant.
Pimento cheese it's polarizing. Some people either love it or they hate it.
Or they hate it, right.
I didn't when I was a kid. The older that I got, the more that I learned to appreciate pimento cheese. My dad's recipe, he would get the old Mrs. Stratton's, which is terrible. I can't even touch the stuff now. He would cut the tub in half and mix half jalapeno and half regular.
Oh, okay.
So you got just a little bit of heat with it. And I see why now it works. When you're doing it the right way and actually making it, then you can control the level of heat. But just the level of difference between the stuff you buy in the grocery store and actual homemade pimento cheese is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
It is. And I do, like I said, you can just order just the pimento cheese and eat it with crackers or with whatever you want. You can get it on
tortilla chips.
Yes. It's very good with tortilla chips.
It is amazing with tortilla chips.
Or you can get it, you can just get it on a croissant, or the grilled cheese like I was talking about, or I even make it into a cheese ball and coat it with, you could coat it with tortilla chips. I normally do just plain old Ritz crackers. I don't know what it is with pimento cheese and the Ritz crackers, but it's fantastic.
It's that toasty flavor that you get there.
So I do the cheese balls that way, and that's a pretty big seller too.
Pimento cheese ball. That sounds amazing.
It's basically pimento cheese, and you just shape it into a ball and put whatever crunchy you want on the outside.
Pretty much. One of the restaurants here in town actually does a pimento cheeseburger.
I've seen that. I have. Actually, I've had one.
Have you?
Yes.
So
it's very good.
It's Downtown Chief.
Yes.
So the Downtown Chief, they put pepper jelly on top of
They
it
do.
too. So it's that green. Oh, it's so good. I'm not usually a sweet and savory type person mixed into one bite.
Oh, that's my favorite.
But that burger you've got to try because they'll
Yeah,
put
it's
that
very
little bit
good.
of pepper jelly on there. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
don't know why I like it, but I do.
Yeah, that's that. When I do that grilled pimento cheese and bacon, I put that. Some people, of course, they'll say, no, I don't want that peach habanero, because you say habanero and they think it's going to be like off the chain spicy, and it's not. It's just, it has that little bit of heat, and then you get that little bit of spice. But then when you get all that melty pimento cheese in there and that crunchy, salty bacon.
The reason why habaneros work in pepper jelly like that, the heat, it's hard to describe, but it is a little sweet. People think like you said, in terms of heat level, and they said, I don't want something extremely spicy. But with that habanero, you get that little bit of a fruity taste.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten some sweet habaneros that don't have all the heat to them. They had a little bit, but probably less than what you would get in a jalapeno. But I used those, and I put them in with, I actually homemade some pickled eggs. And it turned out pretty good. But when you just ate the pepper, because I've got them cut up in the kitchen, I'm like, okay, I've got to try this. It had that sweet flavor to it that pairs so well when you're doing it in something like pairs well with peach.
Right.
When you're doing it in a jelly like that. So
That is that jelly, out of the ones that I sell, that's one of the best sellers, is that peach habanero, because people use it on just about anything, and I put it on most of my boards because it gives you that sweet and that heat without being too much.
And so some of the things, I guess circling back around, some of the things that you see on the board and that you might try in a box or something like that, you have available for sale right here.
I do.
So if I wanted the peach habanero jelly, I can get a full jar of it and enjoy it nearly any time that I want to.
Yes, you can. And the pickles as well. A good many of the tables that I do, I use those pickles from Crow's Nest, which is out here in Hokes Bluff.
Right.
And they are fantastic. I can't hardly keep them in. And then the pickled jalapenos, she also does. And I put those in my boxes sometimes, and people just love those. I have several that'll say, hey, I need a box. Please send me 2 things of those pickled jalapenos instead of just the one this time. But I have those things here as well.
My other favorite pickled food is pickled okra.
Oh, you'll find that. Now I don't have anyone local that does that. I just get that from just the local grocery store.
It's hard to find.
But I do put those on tables, and I put them in boxes upon request.
Yes, I like it because they're not like a pickled cucumber. You get all the flavor, but it's a milder flavor that works with different stuff.
Yeah, I used to didn't care for them because I always thought that, like, if okra wasn't fried, it was going to be like
Slimy.
nasty, slimy, and I'm just like, I can't do that. And one day I'm like, well, that don't really look slimy, so I ate it, and now I love it. It's one of my favorites.
They're a delicacy. So a couple places actually put them on the buffet.
Yes.
So I have seen that a time or two. That's
I've seen them on salad bars, which I loved when you go to a salad bar and you find all of those pickled items, because that's what I like with my salad.
Same. I went. There's a restaurant in Chattanooga. That's kind of an extension of it. The original one was in Asheville, North Carolina. So pimento cheese. When I was really, really starting to get into pimento cheese, I saw this menu item at a restaurant, and so it was pimento cheese and warmed tortilla chips. Of course, it's fresh and it's warm cheese. Well, then they garnished it with pickled okra. So that is how I got onto pickled okra. Just unbelievable, the flavor, and it kind of paired all well together just in one package. So that's kind of the story of how I got onto pickled okra. But it really is just a different flavor, and I love anything pickled. Got several different jars of different types of pickles in the fridge right now.
I do too, at my house and here.
Yeah, it kind of happens because it's something different, but it's nice to give you a clean finish with some of the stuff, because some of the flavors on your board you get very intense, especially with the cinnamon rolls. You kind of need a palate cleanser, something behind it, and that pickle's nice.
Yes. Like I said, the pastry stuff is just, you have to specifically ask for, a brunch board to get those kind of things. A lot of people order those like around holidays. I'll do for people to pick up the day before Thanksgiving to have Thanksgiving morning, because who eats breakfast Thanksgiving morning, right? You wait for the bird to get done. You don't eat breakfast.
Do.
So I have those that people pick up. I do the same thing at Christmas time. They'll pick up either Christmas Eve morning or the day before that to have as that's their breakfast. While they're getting the meal ready or getting themselves ready to go to where they're having their meal, they just put the box or the board down with the family, and there you go. You have breakfast.
that was our routine. Going to my wife's family, our traditional was lunchtime. It was a lunchtime meal on Christmas Day. So it was kind of get up, do our thing with the kid, and then put everything together. It would have been nice to have something because it's about an hour drive. Her family's up from Hammondville.
Right.
So we would have that long drive. We're throwing stuff together in the kitchen. It's hard when you're cooking. You want something to keep you hungry. Otherwise, you're going to go crazy smelling all that food.
You are.
That's
and
a
you're
great idea.
Pick at it, and then you're not going to be hungry by the time it's time to eat because you've tasted everything that you're cooking. So, and those don't have to just be at holiday time. I could do those anytime, by order. I don't keep have boards ready for pickup. Daily, though most of those are per order, because I have people, they'll call and say, hey, I need something this afternoon, do you have something ready? And I don't normally keep those ready because you want these to be fresh. You don't want them to sit, for days or whatever. So most of those are per order. Occasionally I'll have some small ones, since I do the lunch and stuff, I'll have some small ones on my lunch days just for someone to, in a hurry just to come in and pick up.
Because I know you do a lot of school lunches too for teachers.
I do on Fridays when school's in.
You make Lunchables for the teachers, and the kids have their Lunchables.
I make the lunches for them, and on Fridays, in between my lunch and breakfast serving here, I'll deliver them to the Hokes Bluff schools out here, the teachers, if they order.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Nikki, I appreciate you sitting down with me today. I guess finally, just where you're located, how people get in touch with you.
Okay, I'm at 5340 Old Highway 278 in Hokes Bluff. I'm right between Pig and Out Barbecue and Morelia Winery.
Okay. So look for the vines.
Yeah. I do breakfast and lunch on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Occasionally on a Saturday, I'll have that on my Facebook page if I am going to be open on a Saturday. Because if I have catering later that day, I'll just open for breakfast that morning. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I open at 7 for breakfast. I can do catering any day though.
Right.
So, of course, that's, by order and by appointment. I'll do the catering, the boards, tables, that kind of thing.
And your phone number?
256-478-0596.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with me today. This board is beautiful. I'm really, really having to fight myself to not dig into it, but beautiful work. And thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you so much.
All righty.